everyone, it's Sharana from Payorwait, and today I'm going to be reviewing and recapping House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 3, as this week's episode opens up with, like, we got a little petty beef happening in the Riverlands, alright? You know that beef that's been happening for so long that people don't even know why they're beefing, they just know that they're not getting in the middle of it because they're both insufferable. That's basically what's happened with House Bracken and House Blackwood. These people have been beefing since, like, the first men. They've only bonded together one time in order to fight in a war, but even after that, when they lost, they still decided, I still hate your guts and we're gonna beef forever, because they basically don't see each other as legitimate in their own way. And so that's forever been the beef in the Riverlands. And so we see that they're beefing back and forth, and then it ends up being a war between the two, where we see that the blood count, the body toll is so high that literally no side won. Is really just like, even though they killed Lord Samuel Blackwood, they were just like, hey, I know you want to count this as a win, Aegon, but this is not what you want. It was too many deaths on both sides. It was really just petty and unnecessary in the first place. So we just gonna call this a draw for right now. But Aegon just considers it like one of the first blood spilled. They won this little battle. So basically he just feeling himself for absolutely no reason. But we're gonna go into Damons Story, because Damon actually does arrive in Harrenhal. And I was like, oh, honey, this is what y'all battling over? This place looks dusty. Oh, abandoned. Like, honestly, I didn't think anybody lived there, because had it not been for the people running talking about dragon, I thought that this was just an abandoned castle. And I was just like, oh, this is what we're trying to get. That doesn't make sense to me. But we see that Damon just busting their dinner. It's like, hey y'all, guess what? I'm taking Harrenhal. And Sir Simon Strong, he was like, I mean, okay, baby, can we get back to eating our venison? Like, what's going on? And so he was just like, okay, honey, like, this is what we got on the dinner menu today. Do you want to get something to eat? Because, like, we gonna finish eating. Like, we know that you just took it over, but we were in the middle of dinner. And so David basically tells him, like, honey, I'm not eating this food. Y'all gonna try to poison me. And he was like, baby, I don't know if you seen what this place looked like, how dusty it is, but one thing I do know is that we don't have money to waste, okay? So this food that you're wasting, all right, we don't even have time to poison somebody, because even that would cost money. And as you can see from all the water leaking, okay, the burned stone, okay, because let's not forget that it was one of your raggedy people who had a dragon. I think it was actually, who was the one? It was Aegon the Conqueror, who actually, his dragon basically destroyed the entire castle, because the castle, they didn't think about, oh, let's protect the stone from fire. So Balerion, who was Aegon the Conqueror's dragon, was actually responsible for how dusty it looks. So I was happy that Sir Simon Strong was kind of just like, sir, you're sitting up here talking about let's put Harrenhal on like Westeros like extreme castle makeover, and it was like, honey, last time I checked, it was your little raggedy ancestors with their raggedy dragons. Balerion, who was the one who is responsible for why it looks this way. So honey, we don't have the coin, we don't have the money, all right? So since you took over, go ahead and get your budget, get your little crew out here, and let's like spruce things up a bit. But if you're looking at me to get something done, it's not gonna happen, sweetie. So I was actually here for that. So we see that Damon's kind of getting annoyed because he doesn't trust them. He thinks like, this was just way too easy for me to bust in here, take Harrenhal, and you just like, you're okay with it. But what Sir Simon Strong reminds him of, after Damon had to tell him, call me Prince one more time and see what happens, okay? Say it one more time and see what's gonna happen. But he got it together. However, he did remind him, like, I have no allegiance to Lord Larys. Like, did you forget that his dad and his son burned in the fire when they ain't never had no fire since your raggedy ancestor dragon came and destroyed the castle? That don't make sense, honey. I don't mess with him. I don't mess with him. We know that he had something to do with that. So no, I pledge my allegiance to Rhaenyra. We ain't got no problems. Like, I know you was expecting us to put up a fight, but honey, look around. It ain't nothing to fight over, all right? So we see that Damon is, you know, in his chambers, and you see that he has the swords two swords basically stopping from anyone being able to get in, and we see that the roof is leaking. So he was just like, oh honey, I need to get back home. Like, I know I'm beefing with my wife, but I gotta get back home. Can't nobody live like this right now, all right? So someone's trying to like bust in the door, and I was like, rude, like y'all don't even knock. And so I was like, maybe he's hallucinating, which he was hallucinating as he goes into this room, and then he sees a young Rera who is basically sewing up Aegon II's child's head back on the body, basically talking about how she always has to clean up his messes, or someone always has to clean up his mess. And so then he wanders outside, and then we see the weirwood tree, which can also be known as the heart tree, where we see in Game of Thrones. And basically this tree is among those, is always within a castle wall for those who kind of pray to the old guys. It normally has someone's face carved into it. This is a place of worship. And we see that Alice Rivers, who was played by my girl from Glow, I was like, hey girl, how you doing? Nice to see you. And so she basically comes up to him like, hey ho, guess what? This is where you gonna die. And I was like, damn, like you didn't say hi, like how you doing? How's your night going? How's your visit to Harrenhal going? She was just like, hey, this is like where you're gonna die. And then she just walked off. And for those of you who don't know, she is one of the bastard children of House Strong. Some people call her a witch because she's known to be able to see visions of the future. That's all I'm going to go into, because she does have another role to play. But if you haven't read the book, or you don't know the story how this happens, we know this is kind of prophesized into something that's going to happen at Harrenhal, but it probably honestly won't happen until next season or at the beginning of season 4, depending on how this timeline is going to happen with House of the Dragon. So that's all I'm gonna say, and that's pretty much all that's going on with Daemon, and we're gonna go to King's Landing, okay? So Sir Krispy is staring into space, trying to figure out like, damn, I done got this job promotion and I ain't got no qualifications to be the hand of the king, all right? And so he heads into his first council meeting. It's clear as he's on his way, he sees new soldiers in the King's Guard. They clearly have no respect for him. Oh, I mean, my man was just sitting on the floor. He looked at him like, oh, hey boss, what you finna do? Like, what you gonna do? So he's just sitting there, and then he gets up. The dude is slouching when he walks into the small council meeting. And so he's looking like, who are these chumps? And Aegon was like, oh yeah, I hired some new people. And it's just like, it kind of goes into, I died laughing when, you know, when Otto called him a fool. We see that Rhaenyra calls him feckless, like in this week's episode. And Aegon is just so terrible as a king. It's like he started off like he was trying to be good, but then it's just, he's a child. And every single day, I'm sure Otto is kicking the air somewhere like, I can't believe that I put my money, my name behind my raggedy grandson. So basically everyone's like being very shady in these council meetings, to the point where Alicent was like, hey, like the girls are fighting this too much, because we're trying to be fighting these dragons. What is going on? Like, we need some decorum in here. And then Sir Krispy was like, she basically said your scheme was rash. And then he was like, well, all of us can't just sit in our castles waiting for war to come. And I said, oh my goodness, is there trouble in paradise? Like, I thought you was just getting your litter box moisturized, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be happening anytime soon, because it feels like y'all are sitting up here beefing, okay? So after he said that, I was gagged for a moment, because when he was really like, we all can't hide in our castles, honey, and hide from war. But we see that Sir Krispy comes up with this idea that he's already playing with Aemon, is that he wants to take hold of the Riverlands, and he feels like speed is their best, you know, way forward. And so he wants to take a group of men that he's personally trained, because clearly he can't depend on everybody. You know, they're kind of against it at first, but then he wants Aemon to come, but he doesn't want, at first they say like Aemon, but then they're like, no, Aemon and the dragons need to stay behind. And then Aegon was like, well, I'm gonna come. And they're like, sir, to do what? Die? Because like, he's like, I'm one of the fiercest of them all. Baby, stop the lies. The lies. The lie. Why are you lying? Somebody get him. Stop lying. That was just a bold-faced lie, all right? So Sir Krispy, he decides that, you know, he's gonna go, and Aegon is still set on going and flying in with his dragon as well. So we see that Sir Krispy comes out with like a new haircut, and then Alicent was like, hey, let me introduce you to my brother. So the brother was not here for Sir Krispy. It was probably the haircut, but also too, he was just like, it's crazy. I was gone for 3 months and then I come back. And not only is my like father banished, but like he's not the hand of the king. And he basically called him poor. He said, and your poor broke ass is the person that's sitting up here as the new hand. So like, that's crazy. That's wild. Okay. So he basically Alicent tells him that, her brother's going to be going with him. I don't know if she just feels like she needs to have someone from their house there to basically, be eyes and ears out here snitching on Sir Krispy to see what he's up to. But yeah, so her brother Sir Gawain Hightower, he's going to be accompanying him. And, they have this weird exchange, Sir Krispy and Alicent, and I don't know if she really be trying to act like she don't mess with him like that, but she really do mess with him like that. It was just weird. Like, your man finna go in battle, girl. Like, you weren't even gonna get the box licked again. Nothing. You not gonna send him with a good send out? Like, you just gave him a handkerchief? Like, that's it? Okay, I guess. So Alicent goes to check in on Helena. I guess that's the only kid she really do like. I guess she don't care for all her sons. But she goes to talk to Helena. Helena's basically like, hey girl, like you ain't gotta keep visiting me like this because we know you are not mother of the year and definitely not mother of the century, okay? And so she was just like, hey, I forgive you, girl. Like, let me have my space, honey. I forgive you. I release you. Go do what you want to do. Go get your box, tended to. Whatever you want to do, girl. Just get out of my space, all right? So Lord Larys gets into Aegon's head and basically manipulates him into saying like, hey, I heard the streets was saying that they sending you off so Alicent and Aemon can run the kingdom in your absence. And then people was talking smack about you going in the first place. So Aegon decided that he was going to stay. And then also too, we see that Sir Gawain and Sir Krispy get into it. Sir Gawain was like, hey, like, you think I know that you're used to being poor and living in poor conditions, but honey, I'm come from money, okay? Money. So I'm gonna go to the end. I'm gonna get drunk. I'm gonna get me some hoes. I'm gonna do what I need to do before we go into battle, and we'll meet up with you guys later. So while they're having a pissing match back and forth, then we see that Rera is on her dragon. She spots them, and Sir Krispy's like, we're exposed. They're trying to run. Like, Rera was finna light them. She was finna light them up. Okay, he was really finna be Sir Krispy for real, but instead, they're able to get into the woods where they're able to hide, but then at least Rera is able to give this information back to Rhaenyra so they can make plans on what they need to do next. Now, in the midst of this, back in King's Landing, we see that Aegon is out with the other King's Guard that he hired, and then basically they're at a brothel, and then they walk in on Aemon with, I guess that is the woman that he lost his virginity to, and so he only wants to be with her, and so they laid up all booed up, cuddled up, and then Aegon was like making fun of him in front of everybody, and then we got a little peen shot. Thank you for some equal opportunity peen. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, just saying, like, let us look at something too. We be seeing ass and titties all the time. Like, give us something to look at. So he walks out, basically called her a whore, and I was like, damn, like, I mean, that's real aggressive, Aemon. But he walks out. We know his feelings was just hurt, so I'm gonna let it ride this time, but I'm not okay with that. And so I thought he was gonna beat up Aegon, but he didn't. So he just walked off. And that's pretty much all that happened with King's Landing. I think the bulk of this really rests upon Rhaenyra, where we see she's burying the twins, and Rhaenys is one of the few voices of reason throughout this whole thing, right? She knows what it feels like to want the throne, to be the one that is the most suitable for the throne, but to have the throne passed up on her because she's a woman. So if there's anyone who understands Rhaenyra's plight right now, her circumstances that she's in, it is Rhaenys of all people. And so she tells her that she doesn't think that this is Otto's doing, and that really, like, she needs to talk to Alicent to try to stop this war. She tells her that Alicent tried to talk to her to get this war to stop, and that she understands that, she said there's no war as hateful as a war between kin. And there's no war that's bloodier than one's a war between dragons. And so she understands, and Rhaenyra does understand as well, just like Alicent, who's been trying to avoid this as best as possible, of how bloody and how devastating that this war, the Dance of the Dragons, is going to be. And so she reminds her that it was always the men around her who was seeking bloodshed. You know what I mean? Like, you were trying to just find peace, and then Daemon goes and kills this person, and then Luke took Aemon's eye, and Aemon killed Luke. Like, all these things happen because men are just trying to have a pissing contest with each other instead of applying reasoning and logic into everything. And so we see that Rhaenyra meets with the White Worm, and she thanks her for saving her life, and she was like, thank you, but how much are queens' lives worth? Okay, you thought this was gonna be free? Did you forget they burned my small business? Okay, my small business isn't gonna build itself. I need some coin, I need some money, I need some standing. I need to be in your court in order for me to like live, ho. So you thought I was doing it for free? You thought I gave up my freedom to go do what I wanted to do to come save you? After your raggedy husband, the reason I was in this mess in the first place? Girl, bye. And I was like, nah, Rhaenyra, girl, like, be effing for real right now with her. So we see Sea Smoke, which I know we're pretty much gearing up for Adam. Some of the bastard children, if they follow that storyline, I don't know, but we know we're gearing up for Adam to be the person to ride Sea Smoke, because we see White Worm says, you know, Rhaenyra saying that he's been restless, and she's like, maybe he's just lonely. And so I guess they're gearing up for that. We didn't see Adam this week, but I'm sure Adam gonna pop up sooner or later. Rhaenyra tells Rhaena that, actually no. Is it Rhaena? One moment. Cause I feel like I'm getting Rhaena and Baela. I feel like I'm getting them mixed up, but you know who I'm trying to say, so wherever. Like, was it Rhaena? Sorry, y'all. Y'all just gonna have to deal with me on this one, okay? Because I'm not editing this out. Whatever. So she tells Rhaena, so Baela is the one who found them. So Rhaena is basically sent away. She tells her that she wants her to take her young kids. She wants her to take Joffrey, who is the last of her kids with, you know, how strong. And then also too, she wants her to take her two youngest with Daemon, and she wants them to take them to Pentos, which is the place where her mother died. She also wants her to take 4 of the unhatched dragon eggs, as well as the kids dragons as well, in order for there to be some hope for a future. She doesn't want to lose all of her offspring to this war. She wants to protect them all at costs. And so, you know, Rhaena's just like, I mean, okay, girl, but I gotta leave my sister too. Like, damn, like I can't go with nobody. So Rhaena's not happy about this at all. Her sister tries to comfort her, but she's like, oh, I don't care what you gotta say. I don't care what nobody else gotta say. Like, this is not okay. It's not okay, all right? But I would be like, Rhaena, girl, you safe. Like, girl, go have your vacation away from this war. Like, who want to be a part of all of this? Because I don't. You done already lost your mama. You done damn near lost your granddaddy. You lost your uncle already. I think you got the gravy part of the whole predicament. But, I mean, do what you do. So, I like that she asks Rhaena, like, please be the mother that I can't be to my children. And we see that she's very sad when her children goes away. It's the way that Jacaerys just was like, okay, girl, bye. Bye, my little brothers, and just walked his ass on. Even Baela was looking like, damn, like, you just walk away that quick. I was like, okay, do your thing. But we see that they have a council meeting with Rhaenyra. I hate Rhaenyra's council. Like, they're so disrespectful every single week. Even Rhaenys had to go off on them this week. And I was just like, girl, just kill them. Just kill them. They not doing nothing. They literally was gonna tell her, hey girl, why don't you go into hiding and we gonna run the war for you? Like, sir, what? Have that make sense for me. I hate her council with all my heart and soul. Like, I truly want her to kill them. I pray that she's going to kill them, okay? But we see that Rhaenyra ends up having another question with White Worm. She's really took heed to Rhaenys's advice, and before she gives her counsel direction on if she's going to use the dragons, what they're going to do in the Riverlands. She wants to try one more Hail Mary to avert the war. And so she asks White Worm, like, hey, what can I do to get to Alicent? Or is there a place that I can get to her without being noticed? She's like, oh, okay, like, you finna kill her? She's like, no, girl, mind your business. Like, just tell me what I need to do. And she was like, this will probably be easier if you just gonna kill her, though. And I was like, girl, like, that's what I'm saying. But she ends up sneaking in as, I guess, would you call them, a nun? And they go to the place of worship where Alicent always goes to pray. And so then she rolls up on her, pulls out a knife, and then she was like, what if I scream? She was like, I mean, I'll be captured, but not before I kill you. And I was like, girl, aren't you supposed to be doing peace? And you tell this girl you gonna kill her and she say something like, even she had to be like, girl, I'm so sorry, let me start over. I did not start that conversation off right. And I was like, thank you, because I was just very confused for a moment. Like, Rhaenyra, get it together, all right? So they have a conversation, and she tells Alicent, like, I had nothing to do with your grandson's death, but let's not forget you killed my child, okay? You still ain't got yours for that, but I'm still trying to end this war before it begins. And she was just like, she tells her, like, dude, I'm like, we can't go back. And she was like, my father told you what he wanted. And she was like, girl, he changed his mind. And she was like, girl, what? And then she tells her that he mentioned, she actually did, like, he mentioned my name. She was like, girl, no, he did not mention your damn name. He mentioned Aegon's name. But then she realizes that he was telling her about the story of the Song of Ice and Fire about Aegon the Conqueror, not her raggedy, feckless child. That's what Rhaenyra said. That's not what I said. But she wasn't lying. She says, like, no, ho, that's about Aegon the Conqueror. You thought he was talking about your raggedy ass son? No. So then she looking like, this was really great acting. I do have to say, as much as I get on Alicent's character, I will say that she does such a great job at portraying her that Olivia Cook, I just think that she's so fantastic. And I also think that Emma, they're fantastic too as Rhaenyra, and they have great chemistry amongst each other. And it was just the faces that they both were making. Like, you see the tears in Rhaenyra's eyes as she thinks that her father didn't mention her on his deathbed. And then you see Alicent's face when she realizes the grave mistake. This whole war has started because of her misinterpreting something that Viserys said on his deathbed, when she already know this man wasn't well, literally like disappearing before our eyes. Okay, and so what is crazy and why I still gonna hate her to the day I die is that she doubled down on it. Okay, she was like, it's too late, we not going back, ho, it's done, now get your ass up out of here, because if I see you again, I ain't gonna be nice. She didn't say all of that, but I'm just saying. So she doubles down. She says, there's no mistake, it's too late, and she just walks away. And then Rhaenyra, you can see that there's mourning, because, you know, she's fully lost her once closest friend, her confidant, and now she realizes what must be done and that there has to be war. And so overall for this episode, there's a lot of setup in this episode, and I think the last 15 minutes were probably, I like the whole thing with Baela almost getting Sir Krispy. It's a lot of setup, and I know I complain about it being slow, but everybody's trying to say that episode 5 is going to be the episode where, like, Ish is about to hit the mother effing fan. So I'm gonna let them live. They're set up in the right direction. I love seeing the heart tree. I like seeing the whole thing with Baela almost getting Sir Krispy. You know, how everyone's reacting to Sir Krispy being the hand. You know, Aegon just being terrible, and Rhaenyra actually trying to be a good queen. You know, you even see White Worm mention how, you know, I want to be with someone who knows how to show mercy. You know, even she feels that Rhaenyra is going to be the better ruler out of everybody. And so we know it's going to come at Harrenhal. I don't know how long before we get to that main part of it, but I'm excited at where we're going. I don't know how we finna wrap all this up. I guess we're gonna end on another big cliffhanger. I'm excited to see how far in the timeline they go as we get to the end of season 2. But I'm gonna keep quiet until season 5 before y'all come for me in the comment section like she be saying it's slow every single week. All this stuff happen and Game of Thrones is slow. It's fine, y'all. Like, I can still say something and be a little slow. But yeah, I'm excited to know what you guys thought of this week's episode. Yeah, yeah, it was suspenseful at the end because I didn't know if Rhaenyra was going to get caught. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below, what did you think of this week's episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you still not like the pacing? Are you excited for next week's episode that people have been hyping up, saying that this is going to be along the level of Battle of the Bastards? That ain't what I said. That's what people been telling me. I don't know where they're getting their intel from, but I don't get paid money to know these things, okay? So let me know in the comment section below, what did you think about this week's episode? But as always, my name is Sharana from payorwait, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.